Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in to an absolutely fantastic episode of Bar Talk. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, happy Thursday, happy Friday, happy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Whenever it is that you are listening to this, I hope you are having the best day ever. And guys, if it's not, you have the power, my friends, to turn it around and make it extraordinary. We are at episode 74 today. Thank you so much for tuning on in, taking the time to listen. If this is your first time, guys, welcome on in. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you stay. I hope you come back for more drinks and more conversations. And if this is your 74th time coming on in or somewhere in between, guys, welcome back. I love having you here. I love having you be a part of the conversation with us. So today we are continuing our conversation with White Sox baseball. However, it is not the conversation I was hoping we were going to have. I hope we were going to talk about them winning, them beating Houston, Sox in 5. It didn't happen though. A few things though about the series that I kind of wanted to highlight is number one, Houston is stacked. The better team won, and sometimes you just got to give credit where credit is due, and I'm just giving credit where credit is due because my God, are they good? And it's tough, you know. However, I will say this: I am happy that the Sox got in the playoffs. I still felt like we were a year ahead of schedule. That being said, though, the experience of playing in the playoffs is something that you can't teach. So I think what's going to be great about them getting their toes wet and getting in there is they know now next year the mindset that they need to have to make it better. And the only way you know how to do that is by getting in there in the first place. You know, it's kind of like you have to lose in order to know how to win. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay. Number two, that blackout game is hands down the best sporting experience of my entire life. Like nothing has come close to that. I had chills all up and down my body. It was absolutely wild. Any fan who was in the stadium, I think you can totally attest to this. It went dark and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. But I was much louder. I'm trying to protect your ears right now. And then game 4 obviously didn't work out. However, I made new friends. So to Timmy and Stevie, Timmy was wearing a giant onesie. Yes, my cousin and I sat next to a grown-ass adult in a giant onesie. I appreciated it. We had a lot of fun. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us the entire time. I had a lot of fun. I'm happy I got to sit next to you and shoot the shit with you guys. And number 3, and this is like breaking news as of now. Shit's wild. So after the game, we go to my favorite hangout spot, which is my family's bar, Shinnick's Pub. And I was outside, and all of a sudden this car pulls up, and a man gets out, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, that's AJ Przinsky. Why the fuck is AJ Przinsky on 38th and Union right now? So like a big creep, I followed him into the bar because it's like my brain wasn't registering what it was that I was seeing. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually like witnessing this right now. This shit is wild. So he says he's looking for someone. And in my head, I'm like, who in the hell could AJ be looking for right now on 38th and Union? Like, I know everyone who's practically in this bar right now. Who are you looking for? So breaking news as of, I'm filming this right now before our guest comes on. As of 10 o'clock, the said person that he was looking for was my cousin Terry Ann. You guys might know Terry. Terry was on the Dating Through the Generations episode. And I must have blacked out because she had said, I think he's looking for me. He made my dad a cameo. And in my head, I'm like, okay, he made your dad a cameo. That does not mean he wants to come and talk to you. I didn't realize that on Cameo, you can message people back and forth. Like I've never made one for someone. So I didn't know that this was a thing. Terry woke up this morning and saw that she had a notification on Cameo from AJ saying, I'm coming to Shinnick's. And she was too chicken shit to go over to him and say hi. but also people were like swarming him. So it was like super aggressive. So yeah, AJ showed up at Shinnick's pub on a Tuesday night, and I now know why. But AJ, if you're listening to this, I would love to talk about you your shortcomings to the bar, because I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked, and I didn't want to say anything because I just was like, I think he looks super overwhelmed right now, and everyone's talking to him and everyone's throwing him, and I'm not going to do that. So there is that. Okay, guys, today we are having on White Sox Dave. I had reached out to Dave last week wanting to just keep the conversation going about White Sox. And then everything happened to him. So, for those of you who know, you know. For those of you who live under a rock, Dave had a slight encounter with a guy named John Cusack. He's an 80s movie icon, legend, Chicago native. And Dave also got into it with Patricia Arquette, Academy Award winner, Patricia Arquette, who's from Chicago. And the whole conversation was about like, you can't cheer for both teams. Okay. And that's the truth. You can't cheer for both teams. You pick one and you can't pick the other, especially when you're in a split town. Okay. Patricia Arquette, you're from Chicago. You should understand this. Maybe you don't, whatever. But I wanted to talk about White Sox with Dave. We're going to talk about that, but we're obviously going to talk about what happened. Before we do that, though, and before we kind of dive into this conversation, guys, 3 quick things. One, stay till the end. I have a tip for you guys that I think will help you out a lot. Number 2, follow us along, guys. It is across the board at Bar Talk with Jenna. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Whatever platform you are listening on, I would love it if you would subscribe, follow along, leave a review. Reviews help more than you know. I'd ask that you take literally 30 seconds out of your day. If you like this, even if you don't, I guess, I hope you write something nice, though. And then, guys, I have a website coming. And for those of you who obviously saw the blackout that happened with social media, I don't think they're going to be here much longer. So, website is coming. My goal was originally to have it for the end of the month. That is still the goal. Depends on how much we have. We kind of have a lot of stuff that's going to be rolling out. So, stay tuned for that. And then, guys, lastly, it's fall. What do I love more than anything in the world? It's a candle. LYW candles. LYW standing for Light Your Way. And guys, what I love about this candle is that it is way more than just a candle. We have a lot of parties coming up. The holidays are around the corner. I know that sounds really weird to say, but it's the truth. The holidays are here, guys. Okay. And you need to get on top of your Christmas shopping now, because the Postal Service is going to take forever. They've already been talking about this for months, and a very simple but meaningful gift to give, I always think, is a candle. LYW can cover that for you at a great cost, and they are going to give you a coupon to get 20% off your next order. So, guys, head on over to LYW's Instagram page. That is LYW Candles, or their website, lywcandles.com. Use promo code BARTALK20 at checkout to get 20% off your next order. And then, guys, the other thing that I really like, and I get a lot of compliments on, is my bag. And my favorite bag is Margot Page. It is the handbag for all year wear, made with durable and recycled materials. For anyone who goes to NFL games, sporting games, concerts, they're always updating the bag policies. And ladies, as you guys know, we have a lot of things we carry. Okay, we just do. Men, you may not understand this, but if you have a lady, sister, mother, girlfriend, whatever, and they don't know about the bag policy, you got to inform them on it. Okay, because I didn't know about this the first time I walked into a Bears game, and I had a man with his fat belly bumped me, telling me I couldn't bring my purse in. But Margot Page meets all the bag policy requirements, and I absolutely love them. My 2 favorite bags from them are going to be the clear fringe crossbody, which you will see me rocking at any sporting event or any concert. It's super cute. Or the clear tote. It is a staple. It's nice and big. What I love about it, it has this black bag inside that you can like still cover your things with, or you can take it out. And guys, Margot Page is kind enough to give you 10% off your next order. So their Instagram page is going to be at Margo, MARGO_page, PAIGE, or you can head on over to their website, which is margopage.com, and at checkout use code BARTALK10 and you are going to get 10% off your next order. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Let's go ahead. Let's dive right on into this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, without absolute further ado, we're talking White Sox baseball. We're talking Cusack Gate with the one and only White Sox Dave. Cheers. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm drinking a LaCroix because I can't drink any more alcohol after.
I was about to say, I know it's bar talk, but I am not going to be consuming alcohol. I'm done drinking for until at least Sunday.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. So I had reached out to you because I was like, I just want to talk White Sox, like obviously the excitement around the neighborhood and even in the city has been a lot of fun. And we're obviously going to get to that. But did you have anything interesting happen to you this week?
No, me personally, no. It was just boring week watching baseball. Team got eliminated, and that was that. Didn't really show my face around too much other than that.
Other than that, I was thinking about this whole because I felt like I was living in a parallel universe. I was like, this shit is not fucking real. Like,
I didn't even think.
I was like, you're not wrong. Like, I agree with you. Like, you're 100% not wrong. And the reaction that people got from it, and the New York Post posted about it.
Yeah, New York. So to fill your listeners in, unless they're living under a rock, yeah. I went up to John Cusack in a video that eventually went viral. It has like 3 million views now on just the tweet alone, and people were ripping it, put it on YouTube, even though it wasn't theirs. Not that I care, but and I was like, what? Like, I asked him, I'm like, yo, like, you are a pink hat, basically. Like, you root for the Cubs, and then as soon as they're bad, you come down here and you root for the Sox. And when the Sox, in a few years, when they're on the downswing, you'll be back in Wrigley. And that's like, that doesn't sit well with me. And I have a running joke where I banned people from the White Sox bandwagon because they were so bad for a couple of years after they traded Chris Sale.
Yeah.
That they just kind of abandoned ship. And they were, calling people bust before they even had a chance to develop as players, and it was just a running joke. Like, I'm not the gatekeeper of White Sox fandom in any planet. And, but I could also at the same time, like, look at the White Sox as an organization from 30,000 feet. And I could at least forecast that they were going to be a competitive organization for years on end. Maybe not a World Series caliber team. Maybe they don't win anything other than the division, which is admittedly very lousy right now. But I knew that it was going to be a good run of winning, 90 plus wins every single year for at least a half decade. So it annoyed me when people were quitting on the rebuild, like before it was even complete. I trusted the organization to do what was best to put the organization in a position to win for years on end. So John Cusack, when he always talks about he's a diehard Chicago fan. It's like, no, you're not, man. And all the stories that have poured out from people that have had encounters with him in their personal lives prove it. He's not a fan of anybody but John Cusack. And so I called him out on that. But at the same time, I don't care that he's at the game. I don't care that what he spends his money on. And I thought, because there's a handful of videos over the years where people have called him out at Cubs games where they're like, yo, you're on the White Sox ban list. And he's fucked around with them back. And so I thought I was going to go up to him, bust his balls a little bit. And then he was going to bust my balls and we'd take a picture and that'd be it. But he immediately got confrontational and it kind of threw me off because I did not expect that reaction. And he had his prepared trivia question ready where he was also incorrect in the end, but he had his prepared trivia question ready knowing that he was going to get called out by someone. I just happened to have a camera guy with me. So
what Cusack did to you, because I've had so much time to like think about it, because it's literally wild. I'm like, this is what like men do to women at bars when they find out we like to talk about sports. Because I love sports, and I'm like, I could talk about sports, but it's that like one jagoff guy who's like, can you name the guy who came in the mid relief in the 60th game of the 99?
right,
It's like fucking no one can. So shut up.
nope,
Absolutely no
like
one can. No one can do that.
it was prepared. He
Yeah.
knew that he was going to get called out for it, and he's used that exact same player in other interviews before when he's gotten called out for it. Obviously, that like he's not going to snap on the Chicago Tribune when they're interviewing about his fandom,
Right.
but he snapped on me and he's like, no, it was Mike Squires. First of all, it wasn't Mike Squires. He was the backup first baseman. He asked me who the first baseman was, and I was like thrown off. I was born in '88. Obviously, the '83 team is one of the better teams in the team's history, but I don't know that team up and down. Like, I'm not a historian. I'm not a White Sox historian by any means. And like, if I could have turned back the clocks, I would have done the exact same thing. Other than I would have just ignored that question and just kept it to the topic at hand, is why do you only pop in when it's the good times? Like, I'm not looking at him in 40-degree weather in April in 2017 when they're losing to the Tigers 8-0 and en route to a 100-loss season. He's not there. So don't tell me like you're some diehard Chicago fan, because you're not a diehard fan of either team. You're not a diehard fan of either team. You're just an opportunist fan that likes to get the camera time saying, oh, look, it's a Fox News or Fox Sports broadcast. Let's throw John Cusack on. He's the Chicago fan that everybody knows. It's like, no, get out of my face with that. I would rather them put the like camera on that construction worker or that cop from Evergreen Park that's been gutting out those 100-loss seasons and has, and sinks $4 or $5 grand into season tickets every single year, no matter how good or bad the team is. That's who I'd rather them. But he's get out of here with all that. He's not the face of any Chicago team. He's the face of John Cusack.
He's the face of John Cusack. He's a fair-weathered fan who has no backbone. And if I'm being really honest, he gives me small dick energy from his confrontation that he had with you.
Yeah, he reeked of insecurity.
And then also, I wanted to show you this picture. So my friend went to the game on Tuesday. She was in the Guaranteed Rate Club. And I'm going to try and put this up. I don't know if you can tell. Okay. He's like incognito.
Yeah, that's what he was wearing the exact same thing with me. So, I mean, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong on anything I say, then I'll admit to being wrong. But like that, and that was the girl he was with. I don't want to like throw her into the like. She has nothing to do with it. But like it. But like every other, like I know people in both organizations. I know people in Cubs organization, White Sox organization. Cubs organization said that he would demand to sit next to Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam, like at the big games. So like they throw on the camera on Eddie Vedder. There's John Cusack right next to him. So it's like maybe he's not doing that at the Sox. Maybe he is trying to stay incognito. If that's the case, I'm incorrect. I'll say I'm incorrect. But I mean, there's a Twitter thread that I retweeted yesterday or the day before, maybe yesterday, I think it was, where I like the guy had like multiple stories about John Cusack, and one of them was that like he always tries to name drop himself at bars to like get them to stay open for himself, and like I don't know, he tries to like lean on people with his fame, and like I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like John Cusack anymore, even though he's been in some banger movies. It's just, it is what it is.
It is what it is. The Foul Little Boy sweatshirts are amazing. Do you know how many have sold yet? Because it just makes me smile.
10, but you get the sweat. I mean, I would guess thousands.
Yeah.
Like if I were to put a ballpark on it, it would be 5,000 plus.
Oh my God. I seriously, like, the band list makes me laugh. I don't know the like whole history of it. It is dude, like Barstool Chicago is on it. Of course it's a giant joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
But here's the thing is you learn that people just aren't really smart and you can't teach sarcasm. And if you don't understand humor, like I feel bad for you because you're just missing out on how actually funny this is.
That's the entire thing. Like nobody understands it's an inside joke between Barstool Chicago, myself, and anybody who consumes our content. That's all it is. And to the outsiders who think that like I'm gatekeeping, I'm not. I'm making a joke of gatekeeping. That's the whole joke. That's why I walked up to him and I was like, "You're on my ban list." And it was the immediate confrontation and his attitude that like threw me off and kind of shook me, where I was like, I wish I would have peppered him with like questions on who was like Ozzie Guillen said, like who was a 2017 right fielder, you know? He doesn't know that answer because they were losing 100 games.
Exactly. If you were to see him again, would you just like totally walk away or would you say anything?
Oh, absolutely not. I'd say no, I'd go up to him. 100%. Well, this time I would absolutely come prepared, but like I would just follow up on and be like, hey man, like I would say that who's a 2017 right fielder? You know, who was the fifth starter in 2013? Like he doesn't know those answers. He can rattle off one obscure fact, one obscure player. Like I'm sure Ben Affleck could name the Boston Red Sox 2008 starting pitcher or something. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure he knows who Pedro Martinez is. Like that doesn't make you some face of fandom. It's just it's not, you know?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and get on to the White Sox. I honestly felt like we were a little ahead of schedule with making it to the postseason this year. Like I was happy, yet still slightly surprised, if I'm being honest. Not upset about it, but I had a coach in college who had this beautiful saying, and he would say, winning hides a lot of ugly and losing highlights it all. And I think this loss to Houston highlighted a lot of things that like we need to work on. However, we still had some great things that happened in this season, and you have to give credit where credit's due to this team and everything that they've worked towards. So I want to talk about the good and the bad, but let's start with the bad. What do you think are the biggest things the organization needs to improve upon?
I mean, I'm not going to go into some deep dive because it's boring on like the numbers and the analytics and all that stuff, but they are very right-handed heavy as a lineup. Gavin Sheets had a great 4 games in the postseason. He was one of the only players who did have a great 4 games.
Yeah.
But they need another lefty bat. They need a second baseman. They need a right fielder. You can solve those issues very easily by spending. I don't know that they will. They're already on pace to have a record high payroll without making any trades or signings. I hope they do decide to open up the wallet again this year because they're so close to being a World Series caliber team, but they're not quite there yet. But like someone like Chris Taylor, I would love at second base as kind of like a swing guy. And then make a trade for a right fielder that can mash right-handed pitching.
Yeah.
Like that's, to me, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. What has been the good about this year? What have you like been surprised by with this team?
I don't want this. So with the team as a whole, I've gotten to know a few of the guys on a personal level a little bit, and they're unbelievable dudes off the field. And I know they are really pulling for each other, like every which way. There's not a single ego on that team. All they want to do is win. And that's one thing that I love about them. They're like hell-bent on victory. They expect World Series. They're pissed off that they fell short. And I love that about them. Like they're ready for war. Like they're going to, go take their week-long vacations. They're going to be right back in the cages and getting their arm maintenance in and everything as soon as they get back, come November or whatever. But like as a whole, I mean, the talent is absurd. Like Luis Robert has a multiple MVP type ceiling.
Yeah.
We saw how good he really is. Eloy, he struggled a little bit down the stretch. He was decent enough in the postseason. But I expect him to, should he stay healthy, hit 35 plus bombs next year. And which that's one thing they were really missing this year is they didn't hit a lot of home runs. But I mean, I hope that the taste of this loss this in the postseason is so sour in their mouths that they like refuse to let it happen again, because losing sucks. It's the worst thing on earth. Losing's like it's the Billy Bean quote, Brad Pitt quote from Moneyball. He's like, I hate losing even more than I like winning. And I hope that's the case with them, because the wins are going to come due to the division. I mean, they should coast again next year. It would be nice, I think, if like, so I do think Detroit's like on a nice upward trajectory. It would be nice that Detroit pushed them next year, and the White Sox were playing meaningful games in September, because the White Sox weren't playing any meaningful games in September this year. They were resting guys, which I understand. You don't want to risk injury heading into the playoffs if you have a 10+ game lead, but at the same time, like who wants to show up for a game that in the end doesn't mean a thing, It's just, I mean, guys go through motions naturally, and that's not a knock on them. Anybody on earth that's going to happen with, so that's what like I want to see heading into next year. But the base level of talent it's crazy. It's as good as any base level of talent of any great team in baseball. And I really wouldn't trade it for anybody. They just need to make some minor augmentations, and then we're going to be right back here next year.
Minor changes. And then I think the obvious to me was like, as much as we don't want to admit, like Houston's a great team, like Houston's been to the dance before. Like they knew, the mindset that you have to go in there. And truth is, like, our guys didn't. Like the only veteran guy we had who kind of shit the bed this year was Keuchel, who like I would have loved to have seen him like just really be that like playoff veteran guy that was in the clubhouse, like helping lead the way. For some reason, he just couldn't get it together. Maybe he can one day, but I think, you go in, you lose. Losing's great because you know exactly what you need to do in order to not do that again. So I'm hopeful. We got a lot of good baseball to look forward to next year, and I think even for a few years to come. But we just need a few changes, and I think it should be a good 2022.
Yeah, this isn't a one and done thing by any means. They're going to be right back here next year, the year after that, the year after that. I mean, this is 2021 now. It's through at least 2025.
Yeah.
So we got a good half-decade baseball, probably in all reality more than that, hopefully, of the White Sox going to the playoffs. And we saw that stadium. I don't know if you were there or not on Sunday.
It was, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my, like I have been to a lot of sporting events in my life. That is hands down the best experience I have ever witnessed as a fan. Like
nothing even comes close.
No. Like when Giolito put his hand on the camera and I was like you not only did it go out, but like you felt it. Like you felt, I don't even know how to describe it, but you were just like, and then you're screaming like a moron and no one even cares. And everyone around you was like a little kid again, even though you're sitting next to like a grown ass man with like gray hair and a beard. It's just like everyone's a little kid again. And to me, that was like, I said this like in an interview a while back, but I was like, I think the south side of the city needs this more than anything. Like they just need something to rally behind because things are so fucking shitty right now that like, it felt like a beautiful coming together moment.
It was, I get the chills still thinking about it, even though the series didn't turn out how we wanted, right. But it was like, stick that in your back pocket because we know, and I'm saying like not you, I'm talking to you as in White Sox fans, like we know that that's coming again. And I don't want them to like, I don't know how they plan on doing it, if they like plan on busting that out for like big games or if it would get watered down if they did that every night. But holy shit, was that unbelievable. Like that was there. I mean, I'm talking like the Iron Bowl, like Bama versus Auburn, or I mean, Cubs versus Cardinals doesn't come close to that atmosphere. And Lakers, Celtics, the best rivalries in sports don't come close to that exact atmosphere. That was just absolutely incredible job by the White Sox.
Incredible job.
How like I can't imagine what it'd be like playing in that. And the weather being overcast and a 1 p.m. start the next day, or for the next game, it got rained out. But like that I feel like kills adrenaline at the same time, you know?
It does. And I ended up going on Tuesday and got there. I think we got there at like 12 12:30, so we had some time, but I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, like please fill up. Like that was my fear because I'm like, like you can't recreate what happened on Sunday night. It's just not possible. But I'm like, oh, for the love of God, please, all Southsiders, like I hope your boss understands you had to take off work for this day.
Yeah.
Like, please do it. And by game time, it was full. And I was like, oh my God, they got this many people out here on a Tuesday at 1:00.
Mm-hmm.
So again, imagine what that game on a Tuesday night. I think it's different. I really do. I don't think we win in Houston. I would love to say we would. I don't know though. I don't think it's happening. But again, I'm very happy for the Sox. And I think we got some really good things to look forward to. Even like the neighborhood, like from a business standpoint, like it just brings people in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's great. And it's just so good to see people happy. Like it's good to see people happy. I'll end on some rapid fire questions, but before we do that, I have a funny story. So we go back to Shinnick's afterwards, and I'm sitting outside, and a car pulls up, and I'm looking at this car, and this guy gets out of the car, and I'm like, is that fucking AJ Przinsky?
I heard he showed up.
I was like, my brain wasn't registering. I'm like, why is AJ on 38th and Union? Like this isn't making sense in my brain. So like a big weirdo, I followed him into the bar because I'm like, this is not him. This is just my brain's playing tricks on me. Sure as shit, it was him. He's like, I'm looking for someone. And I'm like, I know everyone in this bar. Who the fuck are you looking for right now? Like, this makes no sense. Talked to my cousin later today. She's like, Jenna, he was looking for me. I'm like, why? Like, tell me why. She's like, he made a cameo for my dad. And I guess on Cameo, you can like message back and forth once you pay someone. I didn't know that.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess. And so she's like, come to Shinnick's. And he messaged her like, hey, I'm on my way. And then she never knew. Yeah. So we're going to try and get AJ back in there because that was just.
Yeah, I heard he was in there. I wish I would have popped in after, but I was completely inebriated and my phone was going off at that point.
Yeah.
About the whole John Cusack thing. But if he ever pops into Shinnick's, by the way, I want you to say, get the fuck out. Cusack at it.
He's my favorite asshole, AJ. He's my absolute favorite asshole.
Yeah. Like everybody's hate, like Ozzy says it best. Like if you play against AJ, you hate him. If you play with him, you hate him a little less.
Exactly.
But like Sox fans, like I love AJ Przinsky. Like he came on our podcast a couple of years ago, and he was totally unabridged. We asked him about the Michael Barrett thing. He's like, "Fuck Michael Barrett." I haven't said a word to him since. Like he was saying that they used to run like kids camps together and stuff, and he's like, after that, fuck no. So like, as someone who likes to hold a grudge, I love that about him, and like that, like he's our asshole, like you said,
he's our guy.
He's our guy. I hope he sticks around. I wish he would do more local stuff, like the national stuff. You could tell like he wasn't watching a lot of the, like, maybe not any White Sox games this year because like he didn't know the team too well. Mm-hmm. But if he, like, he's as good of a baseball mind as there is, like super sharp guy, and I wish that you could get like his local opinion on top of that, and you didn't get the local side of things with him on the national broadcast. But at the same time, like AJ Przinsky, love the guy to death.
Yeah, maybe one day. Okay, so we're going to do ridiculous, random, rapid fire questions. There's not a shot clock, but I ask you not to think about it too long, okay?
Yeah.
All right, who would you let be your sugar mama?
Sugar mama? Sugar mama. What's the age cutoff? I know this.
No, there's no age cutoff. Whoever.
Number one, I would have to go with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Random one, but I love her.
That's not random. She's a dime. I would understand, and I think most people would agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She was the first in my head.
Say that again.
She was the first that popped into my head. So
fair.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Totally fair. Your proudest drunk moment.
Proudest drunk moment. Shit. I don't know if I have any like proud drunk moments. I mean, I've done a lot of stupid bad shit drunk, not like legally illegally, but proudest drunk moment. Fuck, I got nothing. I really don't have anything.
Okay, how about this? What is your most recently entertaining drunk moment?
Well, so I was at Cork and Kerry after a game, and this one guy came out. There's like a faction of Sox fans that don't like me because I'm a Sox fan because my dad's from the Southside. I'm from the West suburbs, but I'll walk into like any bar after a Sox game, whether it be Chinook's, Cork and Kerry, or Turtles,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a few that don't like me because I wasn't born and raised in Bridgeport. Sorry, I was born 20 miles west instead of 2 miles south, but whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, hit me. And this this guy, he actually hit me. And but we were doing like a shot off. So we would let each other hit each other in the stomachs. And whoever lost had to buy the tab. He ended up winning. He caught me good, and I ended up puking outside. But that like made the rounds. Like there's a whole bunch of videos that were bouncing around Twitter of me outside just puking because this guy hit me so hard. So I guess people were entertained by that. Sure.
That's a good one. That sounds painful, but that's a good one.
2 months ago, not even that long ago.
Oh my God. I bet I could find out who the guy was that punched you in the gut.
People were DMing me. I could find it too. I don't know who he is like personally, but people were DMing me like the videos and stuff.
Yeah. I'll ask the bartender. I'm good friends with him. I'll ask him. What was the first concert you ever went to?
First concert I ever went to. Okay, so Local H would be up there. They're from Zion, so far north suburbs, like right on the like corner on the lake by the Wisconsin border.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple of like commercially really popular songs. That I was like I couldn't drive, and you had to have like a parent and guardian with you. My friend's dad came with us. Then after that, probably actually it would have been like the first one I went to on my own, like where I drove, was Dave Matthews at Alpine when I was 17 or 18, which I feel like is a rite of passage if you grow up in the Midwest, even
It
not
is.
just Chicago, but he has seen Dave at Alpine at one point, I feel like.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so when I had Carl on, I would ask him most likely Barstool Chicago edition. So I have 3 most likely, and it has to be between you, Carl, Chief, and Eddie. Who is most likely to be the first one to go skinny dipping?
That would be Carl.
Carl. Who is most likely to fall asleep during sex?
That would be me.
Who is most likely to eat spaghetti with syrup like Buddy the Elf?
That first of all, I hate that movie. That's one of my hot takes that everybody like. I think that movie sucks, but that would probably be me too.
Okay. So we're both from Chicago. We're both Chicagoans. We always got a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the craziest guy you got?
Craziest guy I got. Ironically enough, he just had his first kid yesterday, so he's mellowed out a lot. But I got a buddy. I'm not going to say his name. He's actually, ironically enough, he was like our valedictorian in college and everything, and like didn't have a single A minus, let alone a B in college. And now he's a doctor, but he was just an absolute lunatic. Like he struggled to get through med school. I know because he got a public urination ticket, not once but twice when we were in college, a bunch of underage consumption tickets. But if you were looking for a good time and to like really go crazy, you were calling my like I was calling my buddy up because I was always on that same level with them. Like I was down for anything at any time while we were growing up together through college at least. But now he just had a kid, so I'm sure like those days are over. But like I would say a lot of my friends would say that would be me. So
like you're the guy?
Yeah, I would be that guy for a lot of my friends, but for me, since I can't be that guy for myself, it would be my buddy who, because of his career path, I won't name, but his initials are KT. For anybody listening, you could probably put 2 and 2 together.
KT's the guy. Okay. What is the best piece of advice anyone's giving you?
Um, it was like retrospective advice, but I tell people this all the time. Like, if you don't have a very specific career path in mind that you are hell bent on prior to college, then don't go to college. I think college is a ripoff. It's a scam. I went to a liberal arts school that was 35 grand a year and just got a completely worthless degree that I'm not even touching right now. And I'm still balls deep in student loan debt. And I wish I just never would have went, because I wouldn't have that student loan debt, but I'd be having this awesome job at the same time, degree or not. So I wish I never, I mean, I'm glad because I met some of my best friends that I'll be best friends with for life.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't take that back. But as far as like the financial aspect, I think it's just a waste of money. I would have rather gone to like at most a junior college and then a state school.
I can agree with that. I bounced around a lot. But yeah, I almost dropped out, but my parents were like, "Oh, for the love of God, don't." I was like, "If I don't like it by the end of this year, I'm done." And then I stayed because I was like, I went to school for this. So I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of learning. We'll just keep doing it and figuring it out. Okay, who should my next guest be?
Your next guest should be try to get AJ on.
Try to get AJ on.
Yeah, DM him. I
I
mean,
am.
it worked for us. We just had people reach out to him and he said yes right away. So why not? You mean,
AJ.
like when we started Redline Radio, and this is a piece of advice. Like we started in 2016, so we've been doing it almost 5 years now. And we would send 100 emails out, send 100 DMs, maybe get 5 back, and maybe 2 of those people would agree to interviews. But that's just the hustle you got to do. And I mean, if you don't, like the MJ quote goes, you can't score if you don't shoot. So like just bombs away. And like that would be my advice. So
Shooters shoot, and we'll shoot to get AJ on. Okay, last 3 questions. What is your secret Chicago hideout spot?
as far as like where do I like to go out?
Yeah, or like a food favorite restaurant that maybe you think doesn't get a lot of publicity.
Okay, I mean, so there's I stumbled upon this place on Postmates that is called La Gondola. It's at Ashland and Diversey in a strip mall next to a Jewel, and it's about the dining area is like 4 tables, and it looks like an old Chinese takeout place. But the food is absolutely out of this world, and you'd never guess so because it's in a strip mall next to a Jewel, and like those places tend to not be very good, But this place, I'd put it up there with the best Italian places in all of Chicagoland.
Oh,
La
wow.
Gondola.
La
It's
Gondola.
out of this.
Okay.
It's so good.
All right. What was that embarrassing email address you had growing up?
Mine was over the fence 24. Like I hit a ball over the fence, home run, haha. That was my AIM screen name, but it that was my email address too. But for AIM, like I guess so many people used it, they like auto corrected or auto added rather, like a bunch of numbers to it. So it was like over the fence, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, whatever. So it's just a bunch of numbers. But yeah, I had I don't really do video games much at all anymore. But when I was younger, my Xbox name for when like online gaming first became a thing when I was like, this is back in like 03, 04. It was Shy Playa, like PLAY, like I'm a player, and it's just cringeworthy to think about.
We all do some cringeworthy shit at one point in our life. And if you don't think you haven't lived a life, you got to have some cringeworthy shit in your back pocket that you've done. You just have to.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you, I mean, you can't grow up without cringeworthy, right?
Exactly. All right. And then fill in the blank. White Sox Dave is what?
Exhausted. I can't wait to just fucking wrap this week up and avoid the internet for a couple days.
That's a fair thing to do. All right. So we'll end on a toast. Also, I just want to say this. You are such a great sport. Like seriously, I just feel like you get ripped apart like too much, and you are just such a good sport about it. I don't think I could do it. So
Gotta have thick skin.
You do have thick skin. You do.
You gotta roll with the punches. I mean, I shit talk as much as anybody, and to not expect to get shit talked back, then like that'd be stupid. So like I know what's coming, and like my whole thing is if you can like shit talk, at least be funny about it, you know? Like I can laugh at myself as much as anybody. And if you like are taking jabs at me, like everybody makes fun of me because I'm 5'7", like I'll roll with that, you know, like I can handle that stuff.
I feel you. Okay. All right. So cheers to a great year on the Southside and an even better year ahead is what I'm going to toast you to.
Toast. Cheers.
Alrighty then, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. As I said in the beginning, I had a little tip for you. It's going to be a new segment called Here's a Tip for You. Hope you enjoy it. And I heard this from someone the other day, and I really thought that it could help with you guys. And it's shoulds are other people's judgments. The word should. You should do this. You should do that. You shouldn't act like this. You shouldn't act like that. So don't listen to them, because you're not living the life based off of another person. You're living your life for you and no one else. Okay. So get rid of the shoulds. Don't listen to other people's shoulds. The only person that you need to listen to, guys, is that inner voice inside of you that's going to guide you, that's going to lead you everywhere you need to go in life. So fuck off on everyone else's shoulds and just listen to this voice inside of you. That's it. Okay, guys, that is all I got for you on today's episode. Thank you again so much for listening on in, and take the time today to realize that we have way more in common with each other than we have different. I'll see you next time. Take care.